blink part is totally for the guys, but they actually like flash boobs at you like in the clips. Don't ask me why they do it. Yeah, it's the most you'll see for the whole play. It's kind of funny. It's like a blink and you'll miss it type of moment.
And we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Dudes You Never Told Me. I believe that we are on episode 17 this week.
Yes,
and
sir.
Today I have my two best friends with me. Let's see who goes first.
What's up, everyone? My name's Anthony. It's good to be here.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Apollo. And in case you were wondering why I'm not Alex today, it's because last week, yes, Apollo. So
that's a good name.
Some of you who were here last week might remember, Anthony and I were having a discussion about superhero names, and I decided to go with Apollo because he's the sun god, he's the god of healing, and it's Greek mythology. I'm a big fan of Greek mythology, so I thought it was fitting for the powers that I gave myself.
Wait, is Apollo taken?
I don't think so. Not a well-known X-Men. Not someone that Alex can't just take the title from.
Exactly.
Y'all don't want to know what my name is.
No, Devante, we do want to know what's your power and what's your name. Let's do a callback to last episode.
All right. So I saw the last episode. It was a great episode. And as for my superhero name,
gotta say it.
Do I really want to say it?
Yes.
All right, I can only say it. Whatever. It's Void Niga. And so Niga as in N-E-G-I. No, G-A. Sorry. So Void Niga. And then
Bro can't even spell his own name.
Yeah. My superpower is black magic.
So many questions.
Yeah, what is your superpower do? What is black magic?
Hey man. You don't want to know. It's just black magic. When you see it, you'll know. That boy is Void Niga.
Sure. Okay.
Sure.
We'll take it. Those are your new X-Men.
Oh yeah, I am the new X-Men. Man. But aside from that, y'all hear the other news that surrounded that topic?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Which one?
You're talking about RDJ.
Oh, RDJ.
Robert.
That was pretty big. Yeah, that was pretty big news that came out, right?
I have a photo for it too. Hold up, give me a second. Find the image. Boom. It's actually his announcement thing.
What an announcement. The dude came out and just full on mask, full on robe, and you're like, oh, here he comes.
Did you see his
gonna be his Dr. Doom?
I think his social media post, his Instagram post, or like a Twitter post that he had after he announced.
Same mask. Or no, different mask, same task.
Yeah, that's the one. I think that's really cool. I think that's a cool spin. What did
y'all think, as fans? Like, did y'all expect him to be Dr. Doom?
No.
No way.
No one
have, like, did y'all have any idea as to who it might be before, it popped up, or were y'all just
So actually, Chelsea told me that she heard a rumor it was going to be RDJ, and I looked at her and I go, "There's no way that'll happen. That's just a rumor, Chelsea. Come on now." Like,
but that rumor that he's going to play Dr. Doom, or rumors he's going to be back in the MCU?
No, he's going to be Dr. Doom. Yeah, she saw the spoiler for it and told me about it, and I just brushed it off, thinking like, "There's no way. Like, what is she talking about? This doesn't make sense."
I think the real question is, what do you think about the casting? Not whether he's going to come back or not. I mean, with enough money, someone's going to come back. With the right project, someone will come back. But the real question is, what do you think about it? Because people have some mixed opinions. I think IGN did a poll on it, and like 58% said they disliked the casting of Dr. Doom.
58. That's quite a bit.
It's quite a bit.
Yeah, but nobody uses IGN anymore.
Yeah, but like they have a wide enough poll to gauge on. But like, yeah, what do y'all think of the casting? I know Robert Downey Jr., but Iron Man was the first one you watched, man.
No, but that is true. I do have an opinion for Robert Downey Jr. I'm glad that he's back. He's a great actor. He's a great person in terms of like Marvel, and like what he does. And so I'm sure like just as well as he played Iron Man, he'll play Dr. Doom.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually super excited to see this happen. I think it's a great idea. I kind of wish we would have found out more in the movie and they kept it as a secret.
No, man.
But
they needed this announcement. They needed this announcement.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like this announcement really helps them. It's gonna get people interested again because a lot of people love the actor, and I think it'll be really cool to see characters like Spider-Man and Thor, Hulk take a look at this man, this guy who was their very close friend. They'd probably call him family at this point, and watch him be this villain that they're trying to now have to throw hands at. Like that's not going to be easy for them to do, especially the first time. Like maybe as the movie goes on, they'll be able to do it, but like they're definitely gonna hesitate a lot when they're supposed to be fighting this person. It's gonna be
See,
I
really
can
cool.
see that.
one of the podcasts I was listening to is talking about San Diego Comic Con. They actually had a pretty interesting idea that I kind of want to see if it plays out. Their theory is that you actually won't see the characters that we know and love won't actually see Doctor Doom as Robert Downey Jr. because he's going to be scarred, disfigured, hiding in the Iron Mask. You'll see him what he looks like in flashbacks, or you see his interaction with the Fantastic Four, with like whoever comes out from a different dimension, a different universe.
Mhm.
We actually won't see Spider-Man, Thor, Guardians of the Galaxies interacting with Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, like as the face of Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
can see that.
So
you gotta go watch it.
yeah,
feel like
it's
so-
gonna be
Together,
good.
Have a movie night.
I
Yeah.
definitely think the MCU needed this like booster, like Robert Downey,
Definitely.
Robert Downey Jr. He created the MCU.
Mhm.
There's a line of thought that only it's fitting that he's coming to save the MCU. Not saying the MCU current era is is bad. I enjoy a lot of it, but a lot of people would agree that they're in a rough patch. A lot of movies have not lived up to expectations. Yes, we had Guardians 3. Yes, I know Deadpool Wolverine is making bonko money right now.
It's so good. It's so good,
You
dude.
can't-
It's
400
say
million out the
anything.
gate.
Oh my gosh.
I have not watched it yet. I will watch it tomorrow, so do not spoil anything.
It
I
is
have-
I'm gonna say this. It's my favorite movie since No Way Home.
Wow. I mean, okay. I mean, like favorite Marvel movie, or just
That's-
movie in general.
Favorite Marvel movie.
Okay,
I was
there's
about to say that's been a while then.
I was like, there's not a lot to compete in that category. I mean, we've hashed this out in like our previous Marvel
Yeah.
episodes. Go listen to it. Go watch it. We've had this
Definitely.
conversation before, so it's not a high bar to live up to. The question is, where does it rank among your X-Men film? Where does it rank among your other, Thanos arc of Marvel film? That's the question I want to ask
Right.
you.
Okay, as far as how fun the movie goes, it's number one in terms of fun. In terms of story, Logan is still number one. I think this one's maybe more like top 5 somewhere in there. I have to watch a couple more times.
There's
Y'all would have to go see last week's episode to
There's
see
some
Alex's top 10, I
ranking.
think. Yeah, his top 10 ranking.
It's funny because like
Uh-oh.
I was watching it back and listening it back. We actually never put the Deadpool films in there, which is I think it was a missed opportunity. We didn't include any of
It
the
was.
Deadpool films.
Yeah, y'all will
It
have to
was.
revisit then.
We'll do a
I will
redux.
say this. After kind of not memorizing, but after remembering like what we discussed last week, we only got one character right for cameos.
Mhm. I mean,
So-
they have a huge roster to live up to, so
You'll see.
Yeah, I'm
I
excited.
think you'll be very, very pleasantly surprised.
I think so too.
Well, in other news, I know Alex, you had a very exciting weekend as well as me and Anthony. And so I wanted to start off with your weekend. How was Summer Mummers?
Summer Mummers.
You gotta
What is
explain.
Summer
yeah.
Mummers?
So-
What is Summer
Yes.
Mummers? What do you do? Explain to the audience.
All right. So, Summer Mummers, to start off, I'd like to go ahead and kind of bring you to a small town in West Texas. And imagine you're in a place where the only things you can do are go to work, hang out with some friends and family, if you have any family there, and eat, sleep, and drink, right? So,
Yeah.
not a crazy lot of things to do. I mean, I'm sure there's other things, but one of the more fun things that you can do every summer is this event called Summer Mummers. And Summer Mummers is a play put on at the Yucca Theater in Midland, Texas, where you get to basically watch skits, a play, you get to throw popcorn at people, you get to drink,
Hold on, you
and
get to throw popcorn at people.
Like you're
Yes.
encouraged to, or
you are
You
You
just get
are
a chance.
encouraged. No. You are encouraged to throw popcorn, people.
You
So,
just smell like popcorn.
so okay. So you know how big popcorns are at the movie theater? Like probably yay big, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like
About your
that
torso.
size.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So imagine about that size, but then this wide.
Oh, like it's like super huge.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty big box.
All right.
So you get a nice big size of popcorn that so it used to cost about like $5 a bag. Now, because inflation and everything, thank you to whomever is I can thank for that. Um it's now $10.
You do know that
double.
no presidency has control of inflation
I,
and economy,
I, I, wa-
right?
I was not inferring any presidency. I literally meant thank you to whomever. I don't know if it's the people that run Summer Mummers or if it's like the mayor or the
They saw
mayor
where they
there or
can make their
whoever.
money.
Whomever I have to blame, thank you. And I mean that as sarcastically as I can. But anyhow, so it's now $10 a bag. And so you basically get these tokens that you get to spend on one token equals one bag of popcorn or one shot, right? So
Whoa.
2 tokens means 2 shots. So not terrible. Well, it wasn't terrible, but then they doubled everything. So now it's kind of But regardless of that, it's a good time. You walk in, you go buy your tokens, then you go and you buy your drinks. Then on your way in, you see the people handing out popcorn bags. They bring people into the stands to give you popcorn, and you can just start going as soon as you want. There's not a time to start throwing popcorn. It's not a
Wait,
time
so
to
you're
end.
saying
Wait,
that
why
people
would you
don't have to be on stage? Like you
want to
just
throw popcorn?
So why would I want to?
Yeah. So why would you want to? And then you just literally start throwing it. Like I can walk in there and throw it at someone's face.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, don't be a jerk.
you don't really
Just
you
throw
don't
it
really
as
eat
hard as you
popcorn.
can.
Like you just throw it at people.
Yeah. I mean, so like, pretend that I've got a row right here of people sitting next to me. I can just turn to my left. I can just go boop. I can turn to my right and go boop.
Anthony.
Is it consensually?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
I threw
dude.
some at Anthony. Just boop. No, I mean, if you're in there, you already are consenting. So like, that's basically you're consenting. Like you show up and you're gonna get the popcorn
I
thrown
see.
at you, whether it's from someone that you came with or someone that you didn't know. I mean, every year we always have this. We actually get pretty lucky. We get a fun group of people behind or in front of us. I don't know if it's just because we're lucky or if it's just because that's how everyone is in the theater. Maybe if we sat elsewhere, it'd be the same. But we always have a fun group to kind of like have like a popcorn war with, where we just toss popcorn at each other, and it gets pretty fun. Now, sometimes I have seen people get, well, not sometimes. I've seen one time where one person got a little more aggressive than I was used to, and they were not very impressive to me, but it is what it is. You deal with it as best you can, and you hit them back with popcorn. That's the only way you can retaliate.
So you're throwing popcorn at each other, and then what is the play about?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why am I here?
So Summer Mummers, the play, there's a lot of things that stay the same every year, and then very few things that change. So you have a hero, a sidekick, the love interest, and the love interest's, I don't want to call her a sidekick, but friend. We'll call her friend. You got a villain, and you got the villain's little henchman. Okay. So every year you got those 6 characters, and then basically the hero's kind of dumb. His sidekick is even more dumb. They both went to A&M every time.
Dang, they dogging on A&M, huh?
Oh, they are dogging on A&M. It's hilarious. The love interest, she's always she's a little ditzy usually, and then the best friend of hers is always like very much she's very much, how do I put this, just always trying to get into the pants of the sidekick, like literally like grinding up on him, and just like it's really funny. Yeah. So the 2 love interests, the hero and the main heroine, they're real cute, always cute, like the real just lovey-dovey, like, oh my gosh, love at first sight, like you're so cute, and I'm like, yeah. So then you've got your villain. he always does the classic villain laugh. He goes, "Ah ha 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 ha."
All right.
You know, just classic villain. And he's honestly not too bright either, but he's probably the smartest one out of everybody. And he basically is trying to do something every time. What is the something? It depends. Like this year, he was trying to take over the circus because they did a circus theme.
Sure.
One year it was Game of Thrones, and he was trying to take the Iron Throne. So like, you know, they do different things all the time, and it's pretty interesting and fun. They always have like they always use like little clips to kind of move the story forward, so that way you're not there for too long. And it's always funny because in the clips, this part is totally for the guys, but they actually like flash at you like in the clips. Don't ask me why they do it. Yeah, it's the most you'll see for the whole play. It's kind of funny. It's like a blink and you'll miss it type of moment. I actually missed it this year.
How long are these plays?
So it started we got in the doors at 7 and we left around like 10 or 11. So it's like,
so they're pretty long.
I mean, that's
Is there like a, what is it called? What do they call them? A serenade or
intermission
in the middle? Intermission. Sorry, I don't know.
I think a serenade.
Serenade in the middle.
Do they serenade you, Alex?
Kind of.
Okay.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the whole thing, right? It's the play. Like it's the play. You get about 2 intermissions for the play, and during that they're bringing popcorn. Yeah, and during the play they give you bags of popcorn to buy. You can go back and get drinks during the intermissions, and you get like this nice mug that has a lid on top of it because you know people are throwing popcorn, so it would suck to get popcorn in your drink. And yeah, so then once the play is completed, they do their bows, and now we get to the skits. So have you ever seen like a skit growing up, like where you had to make up like a funny little 5-minute skit or performance of something? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
It's very school, very camp activity.
Yeah. So imagine that, but in a performing theater art. So what they do is they have a lady who's dressed up, you know, like how you would imagine a woman would at like at an event like this. And she walks across and she shows you like a little board that says, hey, we're doing X, Y, or Z for this little skit that's coming up. And usually it's an innuendo or it's just a small little phrase, a couple words. So you don't always 100% know, but it's pretty fun just waiting to see like, okay, what are they going to bust out next? And they always have crowd favorites that they do every year. One of them is Mama. So Mama is typically this woman who is she's basically like a mother, you know, like she's of age to be a mother, and she's basically this very commanding woman, very very stout in esteem, and she just looks out at the crowd and she goes, "What does Mama say?" And then the crowd goes, "I don't know. What does Mama say?" And then she says, "Mama says blah 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 blah." And then it's usually like some really quippy, funny joke that just gets the crowd laughing. And
it's different every time.
Yeah. It's always different.
This is not improv. This is like straight up. Someone probably wrote these, practice it, and something like that.
Probably, if I had to guess. Yeah, I can't imagine it's improv, but yeah, it's usually pretty fun. Some other crowd favorites are they do like a skit where it's kind of like Magic Mike. So like you'll have the men from the show, like they'll kind of do like a strip show in a way
I bet you
for the
love
ladies.
that section.
Oh yeah, dude. You know, nothing gets me going
It's
like just watching men.
At them.
Hooting, hollering.
So keep in mind the stage is pretty far away, so you're probably not getting popcorn in front of all the people. Yeah, you're just throwing
people
popcorn
in front of you.
Yeah, no, it'd probably be bad if we got it on the stage because you know that stuff's buttery, it's slippery. Like I've seen people almost bust ass just walking up and down the aisles. Like,
wait, so you don't throw popcorn at the actors? You only throw popcorn at each other?
So you don't throw popcorn at the actors if they're on stage, but if they come out onto the aisles and
you're
they interact
literally
with the crowd,
just throwing popcorn at fellow audience members.
Yeah,
I think my interest went from relatively high to like, what are you signing up for?
Yeah, I
Oh
thought you were
no.
throwing it at like the
Yeah,
stage people, you know?
it's kind of like the old, comedy plays back in like, Shakespeare era where you're encouraged to be rowdy, you're encouraged to be like loud towards like the to the actors, but this is like,
I
you
see.
know,
So like you can try to throw it at them, and don't get me wrong, people have succeeded in getting the popcorn up there. It's just
Mhm.
it's not the easiest, and you have to be in the very front, which is known as the pit. And
Mhm.
the reason why it's called the pit is it's just an open space with a bunch of tables, and it's not like a bunch of aisles and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, but
Yeah.
going back to the skits,
Yeah.
one of my favorite ones is called Mule Train. So
Mule Train.
yeah. So it's like everyone when they hear that one, come on. I don't know how the song goes exactly, but I'm sure you guys have heard something like it. It's like it goes like skiddly bop, skiddly dee, skiddly boo, diddly da. And then it's like real country western.
Heard you Kevin Hart the other day on that
Hey,
freestyle.
it might. Um, but yeah, and then they I mentioned the guys strip, right? They do have a girls one too. The girls don't really strip; they're kind of already in like their outfits, and they do like a little thing. Although I will admit, this year, I won't name or describe the girl, but there was one girl who was totally out of sync, and I felt so bad for her. I was like watching her. I was like, you really don't know the choreography at all, huh? I was like,
She just
she's
showed
looking
up.
to her
maybe that's
left
the
and
point. Maybe that's the point.
no, no, no. They always do good, and this girl was not doing good.
Hey, she was the backup for that night, you know?
That's what I was thinking. That she probably wasn't supposed to do it,
The
and kind of got roped
understudy.
into it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she would look to her left or right. She almost knocked someone over.
Oh,
It was bad, but it's okay.
you
She
throw
did the
popcorn
best she
at her.
could. I'm sure
No,
people
you
did.
can't, Devante. You can't throw far enough.
Actually,
That's
the
true.
the lady who played Mama this year, she threw a whole bag of popcorn on my buddy, uh, on my buddy who's sitting next to me. You
Mhm.
guys have met him, Devontae. You went to his birthday parties, if you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I know what you're
And
talking about.
yeah, yeah, it was really funny. I was sitting next to her, and he's just throwing popcorn at her, and she goes, "Honey, you know I'm the owner of this establishment, right?" And he goes, "Okay." And he threw more popcorn at her. And she had this whole bag, just goes boom on top of his head, and just like shakes it all over.
Oh, it
It
smell like
was pretty funny.
popcorn, man.
At least
Oh
everyone
yeah,
is like in good spirits about it. I think that's the
Yeah,
it's all fun and games until someone gets like offended, gets hurt. You're like, why are you
right.
throwing shit at me?
I've
I
never
guess
seen
that's the
anyone
whole
get
point, right?
offended,
Yeah,
but
Is to
yeah,
throw
like I
popcorn.
said,
So
what you sign up for. So
yeah, it's a good time, and everybody definitely drinks a bit too much sometimes.
I
But
don't know,
hey,
man.
it's all in good fun.
I think
there
I'll
you
have to
go.
hard pass on summer mummers.
Hey, I think you guys would actually enjoy it.
I don't think I would. I don't like throwing food at people nor getting food thrown at me. And if that's the 80%
I don't
of
know
the
if I want to smell
appeal,
like
then
popcorn.
I'm gonna have to hard pass. Thank you though.
We actually,
Well,
one of the buddies in my group, he was really funny. They were like, "So, who all is from out of town?" And so, people would raise their hand, like I would raise my hand, you know. And then they were like, "Okay, who all's from out of Texas?" And then they would start asking, like, "Okay, you sir, where are you from?" One guy's like, "I'm from California." The next guy, he's like, "And you sir?" He's like, "I'm from Mexico." And then the next guy, he was from our group, and he goes, "I'm from India." And I was like, "No, you did not just do that," because like he actually is Indian,
yeah.
but like he does not talk like that. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have a thick accent like
Oh,
that.
wow.
He cracked me up. I was like, "That's wild, dude."
Everybody
Like
started throwing popcorn at him.
oh,
I
we
was
definitely
kidding.
did. We definitely did. It was his second mummer, so he was having a good time, and it was fun getting to show all the new bloods how it works.
Let's see. Well, aside while you're at Summer Mummers, me and Anthony were at a party,
Yeah.
and this party was my wife's 30th birthday. Woo!
Hey,
Alex, your
so-
camera died.
Yeah, your camera
Uh-oh.
died.
let's see if I can fix that. I'll keep doing what you're doing.
All right.
And so at this party, man, this Anthony, how did you like this party?
It was fun.
I gotta ask you. You're the guest, so
Yeah, it was fun. It's kind of reminds me of some of the college parties I used to go to in college. When it's not like raging. It's not like a house party DJ and everything, but it was people are having a good time, sharing drinks, having a good laugh. It's very high energy. I liked it.
oh, definitely. Yeah, we had a Hawaii themed party, so we
Yes.
had some Hawaii themed cocktails as well as music going on. But then at some point we had to get a little bit more rowdy than usual. It's not a party without a little bit of hood rowdiness. And so with that, it kind of reminded me of my college days and even
Same.
in my past, like, man, like
Yeah.
it was such a nice party. And I was like, man, I haven't been to a party or had thrown a party like that in a while. And so it kind of brought me back to where I wanted to reminisce about parties that we might have been to or might have thrown during our college days.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
party was very much like a woo party, where like you do a shot, you go woo.
Oh man,
Oh, man.
we had Jello shots, like a couple of not a couple, a whole bunch of shots of just liquor and tequila shots. We're going ham just a bit.
Yeah, I haven't had a
Okay.
Jello shot in since college, and that was like 5 years ago. So I was like, whoa,
Hey, I'm glad we
Hot
could bring you
dang,
back
man.
down memory lane.
it is back memory lane. All you need was just like a bag of Fireball. That's all you need to really bring it
Nope.
back. So,
Nope. No
some-
Fireball.
Some
We're a
good
little too old
college
for Fireball
memories.
now.
No,
No
man.
Fireball, man. I actually I have a story not for Fireball, but I have a story for Jameson. I cannot drink
Oh,
Jameson. And
Oh,
the reason why
man.
I can't drink Jameson is one time we went to a restaurant, and this restaurant is like one of my friends. He's the owner, and so we're at this restaurant. It's a sushi restaurant, and we're eating there. And I had like uni, and that uni was probably not the best of uni to have been eaten that night. And then we were just
Left out
taking
too
like shots of
long.
Jameson while eating I had
Oh no,
that uni, and I think the uni was just the bad. Like it wasn't like the
Yeah.
shots. Like I think it was bad uni. And when I got home, my roommate will tell you that I was not having it that night. Like it was just not a good night because that uni messed me up. And because that uni messed
Oh,
me up,
no.
it left a bad taste of Jameson in my mouth.
Oh,
And so
yikes.
I have like
So
PTSD
you're like
from
traumatized
Jameson.
with Jameson.
Yeah, I'm a
Okay.
little bit traumatized from Jameson. And so whenever somebody says Jameson, I'm like, I'm good. I'm good on that Jameson. I'll
Is
take
that what
any
you're
other
feeling
shot.
right now?
Oh no, right now I could take a shot of something else, but
What about you, Anthony? Is there
I have
any
the-
drinks that you can't handle anymore?
Yeah, so it's Malibu. So Malibu,
Oh, Malibu.
like coconut Malibu, like the
coconut
OG.
Yeah.
Malibu. That's a classic.
That's
dude.
it's classic,
so
right?
good.
That is the first kind of like liquor that I had in college, and we would do
Yeah, same.
coconut Malibu and orange juice. That was like the classic,
Yeah.
mixed drink. It's really good.
It's a good drink.
I
Damn good
drank
drink.
too much of those, and I did proceed to throw up, and I did proceed to taste like that artificial coconut like flavor.
Right.
And I don't like coconut to begin with. I have never enjoyed coconut, and so you give
Oh, really?
artificial coconut is even worse. And so
I'm surprised you like the coconut Malibu then. I guess it was the OJ that you
yeah,
just really
and this is like I wasn't. This is an era where I wasn't too familiar with like different like types of liquor, and so you hear Malibu as you guys said, it's a classic, and so I told my friends, hey, just get whatever it's like classically good, and so they got Malibu. Now, Malibu, Fireball, like what are the other classic go-to first liquors? Jack Daniel, obviously.
maybe not a
Right.
liquor, but a beer, or not a beer, but Smirnoff.
Yeah, Smirnoff Ice. I remember those days.
Yeah, Smirnoff Ice was a good,
Oh,
or
yeah.
Mike's Hard Lemonade. Those are like
Mike's
the
Hard.
starters. I feel,
Yeah.
a little bit weaker, but like
They're weaker.
easy to drink.
Yeah, a little bit of.
I actually have a really sad story for
What you
why
got?
I don't drink this drink anymore.
Mm.
My drink is actually Fireball. You guys said it already.
Fireball.
The first and last time I ever had Fireball. So I was hanging out with
wait, you said first and
Yeah,
last time.
first and last time. Yeah. So I was hanging out with this
True
girl who was a
troll.
friend of mine in college. It was freshman year. And the long story short, she had some Fireball in the fridge and she let me try it. And so I took a few shots of it. I was like, "Oh, this is really good. Like I could keep going, like this
I'm
this
like
is some
cringing
good
right now.
stuff." I know. And so I think I was 4 or 5 shots in, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm starting to feel a little bit like, okay, this sounds pretty good." And then I took another 4 or 5. I was at like 9 at this point. And then she tells me, she's like, "Hey, like we're gonna go to a party soon." I was like, "Oh, really? That sounds like fun." I was like,
Mm.
"Okay, when are we going?" She
Oh,
said,
so you pregame.
yeah. It was like a pregame, except not a pregame because then she told me, she's like, "Yeah, me and my roommate are gonna go, but you can't come with." And I was like,
Oh,
I was like,
yikes!
Did
I was like,
you?
"What?"
This is a house party, right?
I don't know. I think it was a frat party, and I think that's why I couldn't go
Oh,
because
Hey, you're not
girls
invited.
can
yeah,
girls
man.
can go to whatever frat party they want to, but like guys, it's
Was
kind of
this
harder.
during
Yeah,
rush
you have
week, or was
to
this
throw it.
during like pledge, like pledge
Uh,
weeks, pledge time?
No, it was like probably September, October.
So
Oh,
probably
it was just
rushing.
probably a party.
A party
Yeah.
was it, or were you rushing? I guess.
I wasn't rushing.
Yeah, but like
They
the
definitely
era
weren't.
where rushing, you can go to different frat parties. They're trying to advertise themselves. to
She
get
just
you
didn't want you
join.
to be there,
You'd mess up
I'm
the ratio.
Yeah,
the
I
10
don't
to
know
1
what the
ratio.
reason was. I don't know what the reason was exactly, but I just remember I was like really, really hurt by that. And then I took like 3 more shots of Fireball, and then her and her roommate
Aw.
left, and she was like, "You guys," she's like, "You can not you guys, but she's like, "You can just stay here if you want,
Oh
like until like you
no!
kind of," because she could tell
Hey,
like I was
Damn,
getting pretty
man,
buzzed.
you're
So you can just stay here.
you got
And I was like, "Oh,
sidelined, bro.
you got friend
You got friend
zoned. You.
zoned, ultimate friend zoned.
uh,
She said you
that's
could
a
stay
story for
here.
another
We'll be
day.
back.
She was like,
That's a
you're just
story for
here.
another day."
All right.
But basically the story ended with me like just being really like depressed drunk in
Oh
her bedroom,
no!
just waiting all by myself.
That's
Like
like the
I
worst
never
level
felt
to
more
be.
alone. I never felt more alone in my life, and I was like, I'm never drinking
So
Fireball again after that.
you're like mentally traumatized. Devante's physically
Okay. No, I'm
traumatized.
physically.
You're
Yeah, I was about to
mentally
be like,
traumatized.
yeah, you're mentally just. You're just like,
Yeah.
nope. You relate Fireball with that moment. That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you know that you can buy Fireball in like bags?
Yeah, you can buy Fireball at Walmart.
Yeah, like a little shot of
Ass.
Fireball.
Like why? But why? Like, is it
I
lower
guess-
liquor ratio or something? Or
Probably it's probably the same equivalency of like wine and beer. Like probably wine is like there's a level.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I remember I
was
went
surprised.
a friend group of mine hosted a house party, and instead of doing so, have y'all heard of the game Slap the Bag? Right, very classic game. You
Yes.
get like a bag of
know
wine
that.
and you just slap it, and you drink it.
Right.
Well, we wanted to make it terrible for people who want to play Slap the Bag, and so we got bags of Fireball.
Mhm.
That's what we played with, Slap the Bag of Fireball. So that cinnamon, weird
Oh.
spicy flavor coming to your mouth for like 4 to 5 seconds. It's rough.
That's a horrible slap the bag to play with,
Man,
dude.
y'all
Like,
were mean.
like
Yes.
wine is already like the cheap wine is bad enough,
Bad.
but
It's tolerable.
Fireball?
It's tolerable. It's we did
just drink
Fireball.
cinnamon.
We did Fireball. We gave it to specific people. We were I guess we were hazing our pledges, so we gave it to. We
You
made sure
think?
that each of them did it for sure. They had to do slap back Fireball at least once. If they were
Yeah.
afraid, they can just do a tiny slap. But if you did more,
Yeah.
big props.
Probably traumatized them too, man.
I
You really
probably
did.
ruined Fireball for all of them, which is great because Fireball is
I mean, it's not that good to begin with.
Stopped liking it after like my
Right.
first year of drinking around.
Yeah, I feel like Fireball's that drink that like everybody likes until they don't.
It's such a safety drink. You really can jump in, and it's really nice.
Man, so one time I'm gonna tell you,
Not just call Fireball a safety drink.
It's a safety drink.
I'm gonna tell you a story where this is something odd that happened at a party that I went to one time, and it was like so my fraternity hosted a party, and at this party, we're all there, and then near the end of the night, for some reason, like as people are like coming in and out, and we got like a random girl walked into our party, like totally random girl, like nobody knows her, and I think she was from around the block.
Somebody knew her.
Interesting.
None of us knew her, And so she walks in, and then me and my friend at the time, like, we're like, hey, like, what's up? What's wrong?
Do I
Like,
know you?
this is like a fraternity party. You're not like any of the sororities. And
Mhm.
she was like, oh, I'm from around the block. I just wanted to come in and see. And we're like,
Oh, Devante was
oh,
literally that one guy in the frat who was like, "Who do you know here?"
yeah,
But you should
because
though. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just for safety.
Yeah, it's for safety.
Because
Yeah.
I'm usually the
Frat boy
bouncer
energy.
Y'all
at
college kids
parties.
out there.
Yeah, I'm usually the
Wow.
bouncer at the parties, and so I was making sure. And so we asked her, we're like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I don't know, she was there's something off about her. And during that time, we're just like, trying to get a little bit of answers from her. And then she was like, "You know what? I want to go home." And we're like, "Okay,
Interesting.
uh, the door's right there. You're welcome to leave." And but like I said, like, we don't know
Yeah.
what was wrong with her. I
Yeah.
don't know if she was on drugs, intoxicated, or what. But we're like, all right, we'll take you home. So me and my friend, like, we hop into his car. She hops in the back, and then we take her to this house that she leads us to.
Mhm.
And during that time, we get to the house, we get to the door, and we knock. And then a guy, like, this white dude, he like answers the door, and he has like two huskies like right behind him. And we're like, hey, we found your girl. She came to our party, and we just wanted to bring her back for you. And then, like, this guy started getting all defensive. He's like, you found her? What do you mean? We're like, why is she out there? And we're like, dude, we don't know why she's out here. She just told us to come drop her off at your place. And so, like, we're like, all right, we're gonna leave. And as we're leaving, he's like, don't make me get my gun. And we're like, all right, dude, we
Bro?
piecing, like, yeah, it went from like 0 to 100 like real quick. And we're like, all right, we're piecing out. And so, like, the
Yeah.
huskies, like, they get out of the house, and they're like following us, and they're like really nice huskies. And so
Okay.
me and my friend are getting into the car, and right before we're about to get into the car, like we're walking up to our car, he like runs out, and he tries to stop my friend, not me, but my friend. And my friend's like taller than me, like, he's this tall white dude. And he's like, hey man, like, where are you trying to go? And he just ran out the house, like, no shoes or anything. He's like, where are you trying to go? And then I was like, I stepped in, and I was like, hey, is there gonna be an issue here? And then he kind of backs up.
Okay.
And then he's like, no, I'm just trying to get my dogs, because the huskies were following us. And he just used it as an excuse,
Right.
And I was just like, yeah, he was just trying to, post up to hit my friend. But I was like, if you're gonna post up to him, you gotta post up to me too. It's gonna be a 2v1 right here, And we're like,
Yeah.
look, dog, we just wanted to bring your girl back, and we don't know why she's out here. We're not even gonna question it. Just, take your dogs and go back and see your house, man. We don't want any problems. And so he's like, you know what? I will. I'm gonna go get my gun.
Nice.
No, he's like, I'm gonna go get my gun. And we're like, all right. We literally like dipped out. Like, we got back into our car. We drove back to the house. And then at the house, we're like, everybody, stop the party. Stop the party. This is serious. And we're like, all right, we're gonna stop the party for 15 minutes just to make sure that we're all safe. Because this is like back in the day, like early Airbnb, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so this is it. This is in our house. This is just a rental. And so we're like trying to make sure that no cops show up. That guy does not show up. And then after 15 minutes, we're like, all right, I think we're safe. We went back to partying, but it was just a weird blip in the matrix where we're like, why did this girl show up? Why did he act like that? What was that whole situation? It was kind of like a fever dream almost. But yeah, that was one of those instances. I was like, okay, what is happening right now?
Sus.
Yeah, definitely. But that was one of my like weird party stories, I would say, that happened. I don't know if you guys have like a weird instance at a party that might happen to you guys.
Nothing that strange, but I do have something somewhat relevant. So, you know how I was making fun of you for being that guy who says, "Why are you here? Like, who do you know?"
Oh
I
yeah, it's for
remember.
safety, man.
Safety, yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I get that, but like, usually doesn't come across that way. So I was gonna share a story about how this one time I snuck into a frat party, and
I like sneaking into
That's
frat
a
parties.
bold man.
hey,
Yup.
Yeah,
dude, I was fine. So
you're the wrong gender to be smooching booze off of people.
nah, dude, let me tell you this story. All right, so I was with one of the guys I played football with, actually, Devante. He played defensive line. He actually was in the same position I was, if you remember who I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah, kind of had a baby face. real tall guy. You might know
I
what I'm
know.
talking
I know
about.
what you're talking
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So we went to a Halloween party together. I told him, I said, "Hey, dude, look, I know a party that's happening. I know how we can get in, and if they ask us who we know, I already got the perfect guy to give them."
Dang, this man bounced in with his friend too.
So we went to this party. We dressed up risky business,
Nice.
and we went in, and we were drinking, having a good time. We are talking to some ladies, and then I remember this one guy came up to me because, like, I guess he didn't like that I was talking to these girls. He probably wanted to talk to him or something. And he goes, "Hey, who do you know here?" And I go, "Oh, dude, I know this one guy. I'll replace his name with a city." I was like, his name's Dallas, and he's like, "You know Dallas?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know Dallas," and he's like, "Oh, well, let's go talk to Dallas." And I was like, "Sure, let's go talk to
Dang,
Dallas."
confirm.
No. This was a good scapegoat because I had a class with Dallas. I knew this guy somewhat. And when I walked up to him, I go, "Yo, what's up, Dallas?" And he goes, "Oh, what's up, dude?" And he just starts like shaking my hand and
Dang.
stuff, and like,
Yeah.
we start dapping, and like, he was like, he was like, he was like, "How you doing?" I was like, "Hey, yeah, Dallas." Like, "Hey, so you remember me, right? Like, we got math class together, and we got that class with the
The-
with the Russian teacher with
The
the really nice
thinnest
butt."
connection. The thinnest connection.
With the nice butt and stuff, and he goes, "Oh,
This
dude, I
man
love
walking
that
in.
teacher." He's like, "Dude, I don't pay attention to all that class." He's like, "Yeah, I know this guy. He's good." And then I was like, "Bet."
Dang.
See, this is
That man literally got through with that little sliver of hope.
That little
It's-
sliver.
it's wild that out of the three of us here, the person who looks like he would belong in a fraternity is
I
not
know,
in a
right?
fraternity at all. That's
Are
like
you
wild
kidding me?
because that is like some that is the movie you do to like get into those kind of fraternities. It's
For real,
the
dude. Do you
thinnest.
have any, Anthony? Do you have any wild stories?
Wild stories. I have a few wild stories. I remember one of my friends. So he in our freshman year, he owned a house out in Austin, and so we would go to a house party at his place. His roommate was out of town. I think he was at a different party, and so he was gonna be gone all weekend. And so we were partying. It was going all great. One of our persons started to feel kind of sick, and he's like, "I'm just gonna go lay down. I'm just gonna lay down." And then so my friend was like, "Yeah, let's lay down in my roommate's bed. Just let me know if you need anything." And so we let him lay down. We're gone for like an hour, and he comes stumbling out of the room like, "Hey, I need help." You're like, "Oh shit, are you okay? Do you help me go to the restroom?" It's like, no. I already threw up in this person's bed. And we were like, "Ah!" And my friend went from fun party mode to like, "Are you shitting me? Like, are you kidding me?" This is
no.
like,
You're like a
cleaning up.
handful now.
Yeah, now you're cleaning up,
Yeah.
his roommate's bed.
Man, when you say that, it brings me back. So, me and my back in the day when we first made our fraternity, because I'm a founding father, we had these parties and we called them Texas Ragers. And one of my good friends, he was the ultimate host.
Sure.
You guys know him very well. You saw him on this past weekend, Anthony.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and so he came up with the idea. He came up with the party, and they would rent out like Airbnbs and fund the money to that. And so we would call them like first inning, second inning. So it was like the first inning Texas Rager, and it was our first party. And at that party, like it was wild because one of our roommates, we brought him with us, and he's not a part of the fraternity, but he's our roommate, and we love to see him because it's so entertaining to watch him parties and just in general.
Oh man,
and he knows who I'm talking about.
I think I know who you're talking about.
And so at this party, like so much is happening. Not only is it my roommate, but it's also like the people that we invited, the sorority girls, and at this party we have like this watermelon, and this watermelon is like the baby of the party. And so you just see people like taking pictures with this watermelon, and they're like drunk, and so they just have the watermelon. They're just like this, like
Nice.
trying to kiss it or whatever, and we're just trying to protect the watermelon from being crushed that night. And then near the end of the night, whenever you said your friend threw up on the bed, one of the sorority girls, she was plastered. Like she was too far gone. And the restroom is already nasty. Like she is on the floor, like
Oh no.
up chucking,
Yeah.
and we're like, girl, we need to take you home, or somebody needs to take you home because you are out for tonight. And then, so as we're cleaning, like we're finishing up the party, we're cleaning up. First of all, she was in the restroom, and then my roommate, that man was gone too. He has like a famous photo. If you, I hope we can find it, but there's like a SpongeBob photo where he's like this, and the photo looks like that because he's like dancing, but he's drunk, and like the person taking a photo is also drunk.
Yeah.
And near the end of the party, we're like, where is he? Where is? I'll use his initials, BBC. We're like, where's BBC? And
I knew it.
we're like, where's BBC? And I was like, oh crap, I gotta go find him because he's my roommate. I gotta take him home. And
Yeah.
I'm like looking for him all in the house. He's not in the house. I go outside, and then I was like, have you guys seen BBC? Because they know that he came in with me, and they're like, I think he might be out there in the street. And so we're like, wait, what? And so I run out there to the street, and I'm like, BBC, why are you out here? And so it's like he's like, I'm trying to get home, dog. Like he's on the street like a zombie. And I'm like, all right, let's go back in. Let's go back into the house, and we'll sit you down. And so we went back in, we sit him down, and as we're like going back into the house, all we hear is and the girl from earlier that was in the restroom, she's now on the patio, like up chucking into the AC unit.
Oh,
like,
yikes.
AC unit, yes. And so now we're just like, dude, now we got to clean up like the AC unit, and we got to clean up inside the house. Like it was just a whole mess. Gross. Like the first rager was just a whole mess. And I just remember even one of our other friends, like he was so messed up. Like his phone was like on 24-hour, like he couldn't open his phone for 24 hours because he tried to put the passcode in, and he was trying to call like an Uber. He's like, yeah, dude, I called an Uber, and then it said 24-hour lock, and we're like, oh yeah, you called an Uber, huh? And he's like, my googly glock, we're like, what are you talking about, man? And so like that first rager was like very memorable, but it was just a hell of a night of just stuff just happening like one after another. And so my other roommate who started the rager, yeah, that night, that was the first one, but we went on to throw like two other endings, maybe. I think it went through the third ending, and I'll talk about those later. But that first night was just it was just event after event after event, and we just couldn't catch a break.
You're reminding me of a funny roommate story that I had. We'll call him ET because those are his initials. And so ET was one of those guys that you love to bring him to parties because he's always wild, he's always energetic, he's like the life of a party type of guy. And
the party. Sorry.
And one of these nights he got so drunk and messed up that he thought it was a good idea. This was one of the three things that happened to him that night. The first one was he's like, all right, guys, I'm too drunk. I'm going to go to bed. And we're like, okay, like go later, ET, like go to sleep, get some rest. And he comes back out and he comes out with a candle, like a lit candle. And we're like, okay, ET, what are you doing? Yeah, we're like, where'd you get that from? Like, what are you doing? Actually, I know where he got it from. He got it from his room because he likes candles. So he had the candle in front of him and he was just staring at it. And we're like, I just remember looking at him like, what are you doing? And then next thing I know, I see him dip his fingers into the candle wax and he starts playing with it like he's at like a rave party. Like it was just so funny. I was like, dude, you good? Like, you're not burning yourself, are you? And he's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm like, okay.
Was it like hot wax still, or was it just like
the liquid hot wax?
Oh my gosh.
Hot wax.
I guess props to him for having callous hands to not feel the temperature.
Oh, he was too drunk to feel the temperature.
I was gonna say, too drunk. And then the second funny thing he did, he starts so after he did that with the candle wax, he starts he gets up and he starts stripping. Like he's in his boxers. And we have a balcony, but we're on the first floor. So it's not a big jump, but he goes to the balcony, and then my other roommate we'll call him FA. So FA, he's a bigger dude. He sees what ET is doing, and he's like, ET, what are you doing? Like, you need to come back in here. And then ET hops the balcony, and he's like, guys, I'm gonna go jump in the river. And
Oh my!
we don't have a river. We have like a little pond. I mean, it's a big pond,
I'm gonna
and
drown.
he was gonna go run out there, and so FA sees him, and he goes, "Oh shit!" And he hops the balcony. I've never seen this man
Oh,
do hops like that before, but he hops the balcony and he tackles him in the grass before he gets any further out, and
oh my gosh!
it was wild
Did
how
he get
how
hurt
that
when he like hopped the balcony? I mean, I guess he was too drunk. He's all like
all limping
well,
around.
well, FA doesn't really drink too much, so he was kind of more of the sober one, but like it was still impressive. He definitely showed off his athleticism that day. But then the last thing this guy did, he went back into his spot, like where he had the candle wax, and we're all just chilling. We're like, hey, you sure you don't want to go to your bed and just go to sleep? And he's like, no, guys, I'm cool. Like, I'm just gonna stay right here.
I
3
see.
seconds later, just all over his
Yikes.
freaking
Oh man.
It's like, dude, it's like we just told you, like if you're not feeling well, go to your room or something. But
Oh my gosh,
it
dude!
was
Before
funny.
Anthony tells this story from the right dress, I do have one thing that's related to what you did, and it's or your friend did, but it's from BBC. So one time, whenever we lived on campus, me and my other three roommates, we lived on campus, and down the hall was a fraternity party, and so we lived on the same floor and everything, and so we all went to that party, and at that party, he starts to get wasted, and so we're like, all right, we're gonna take you home because it's like right down the block or right down the hallway, and so we
Yeah.
take him home. We're literally like, all right, good night. We put him in bed, and then an hour late, or probably like not even an hour, like 30 minutes later, where the party's finishing up, everybody's about to leave, everybody starts leaving, and then we were like one of the last people to get out the house or the apartment. And so as soon as we step out the door, we look over, and he's like, BBC is chilling right there with the cigar, and like he has a hoodie on his head, like a hoodie on, and he's chilling with the cigar, trying to look cool, like this. And we're like, dude, what are you doing? You look like a creeper. Like, why are you just standing out here looking like that?
Oh, no.
And he's like scaring everybody, And we're like, bro, you're too drunk. You need to go home. And so we like bring him back to the apartment, and he's like, no, I want to go back to the party. He started acting like a kid, dude. We're like, dude, you're too drunk. Like, you need to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And so it was just so awkward when we stepped out, and it was funny at the same time because we're like, the fuck are you doing here? But Anthony, what's the story about your mate?
So this was for his 21st birthday. We went out to 6th Street in Austin, which is called Dirty Six.
Oh, even more.
So whenever I go to 6th Street,
that.
I have a pretty set bar hopping kind of like pathway, so I can go drink, and then go dancing and clubbing and stuff like that. And so we were doing my route. We went to a shots bar. We did a few shots. So we pre-gamed before we went to 6th Street. Then we got to 6th Street. We kept drinking, and he got pretty wasted. This is his 21st birthday. He was at someone bought him a drink, like some random stranger. He was just in the bathroom, and the guy asked him like, "What's he here for?" And he's like, "Oh, I turned 21." And they're like, "Hey, let me go buy you a drink." So we took shots of that random stranger. Then we went out, and we wanted to get there's a bar in Austin, I think it's called El Chupacabra, and they offer gigantic margaritas meant to share, but obviously you can drink by yourself. So we wanted to
big, like
they're like pretty
like a
big.
fishbowl. Is it like a fishbowl type?
Kind of, yeah. Like
Okay,
a small fish.
Those are pretty big then.
And it's pretty deep. And so we were like, okay, let's go there. Let's gonna have a good time. We get to the front, and we're walking into the club. The bouncers in front, making sure checking our IDs and stuff like that. He sees my friend, and be like, no, he can't come in. He's too wasted. To go in. And we're like, no, it's fine. Like he's fine. He just acts aloof. That's his thing. They're like, no, he's not allowed in there. And then, so then me and his girlfriend at the time were like, okay, let's go sit him down, get him sober. He's like, he can come in once he sobers up. It's like, cool. we'll sober him up. We'll get him into the club. It's all good. I told my friends to go on ahead of us. Me and his girlfriend were gonna help sober him up.
Right.
And so he's sitting. So we get to. I think we got like a halal like a bowl of like something heavy, greasy to help soak up some of the alcohol in his stomach. And he's
Right.
like. He's like, I can't eat this. Like, I don't feel too well. He sat down, and we were like, oh no. So the one thing you cannot do on 6th Street is sit down on the ground, because that is a red flag that you are too wasted to be out here.
Right.
Oh,
And
no.
so the police were like walking around on horses, and they see my
On
friend.
horses.
Yeah, they see my friend. They're like, hey, is he okay? And I was like, yeah, he's fine. He just, he just needs like a breather. We're gonna get back up. I'm trying to help him up. I'm trying to not get him in trouble. He's like, no. He looks like he's pretty intoxicated. We're gonna have to take him we're gonna have to detain him. And I was like, whoa,
Detain him.
Hey,
Yeah,
that
'cause
went from 0 to 100 real quick.
public
Dude.
intoxication. They're like, you
Oh,
can't be, intoxicated outside. You gotta hide it. So we're gonna arrest him. And like, no, he's fine. Like, he's sober up. Like, just give us like 5 minutes. You're like, okay, you have 5 minutes, and then he either is gonna go to the hospital, or he's gonna go to we're gonna take him to jail. And I was like,
Jeez.
shit.
Hospital or jail?
Yeah. And so we
difference.
tried hard, because we're students. We don't really have any
Yeah, that hospital money
hospital
or bail,
bill.
mate.
It's the
bail.
EMS bill that's like expensive. Any EMS
Right.
bill,
Yeah.
like that goes through his parents' insurance. And so we tried helping him sober up, but we just couldn't. In the day, we had to call EMS to come to get him. Otherwise, he'd go to jail on his 21st
Yeah.
birthday. That's no fun.
Hey man, you can have a little mugshot for your
Little
21st.
mugshot. But it's fun because then I came back to my girlfriend's apartment to crash, because I didn't want to go back to my apartment in North Austin, and I just told her, like, yeah, man, he's like pretty wasted. And I was getting
Jeez.
text updates from his girlfriend, because they only allowed one person to come with him in the EMS ride, and
Right.
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
it was his girlfriend and not me. But I just remember that was like the wildest I've ever seen someone get on 6th Street. That's like with my group.
Well, I think that concludes our episode tonight. And as you may have heard all of our stories, drink responsibly, everybody.
Yes.
We are
Amen
too
to
old for
that.
that.
Amen to that.
And so with that, we had our party year. I'm sure we have many more
We have many
stories.
more
to tell, and
stories.
we'll revisit this topic whenever we go back to college stories, I'm sure. But for tonight, we're gonna leave it at that. And everybody drink responsibly. You guys have anything to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that starting today, you can actually find all of our previous episodes on Spotify. We're actually on Spotify, and so it would do us a huge favor. I know we keep asking you to follow us on Twitch and like us on YouTube, but we are in the day still a podcast. So if you could go onto Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts, give us a good rating, that 5-star rating, get us into other people's feed, that would be super awesome.
Sir, anything from you, Alex, Mr. Connection Issues?
Yeah, no kidding. I don't know what's been going on here, but I just want to say thank you guys again for showing up to spend the last hour here with us. We really want to show our sign of appreciation for each and every one of you. Hope you guys have a great week, and we look forward to seeing y'all next week.
Well, thank you everybody for joining this week's episode of Dudes You Never Told Me. We're signing off. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.
Adios.
Bye, everyone.